Most people don't realize it at first. You do what you're told. You follow the rules. You listen carefully. You try to be responsible. And for a while it works. Teachers praise you for being well-behaved. Supervisors like that you don't cause problems. People describe you as mature, respectful, reliable. But somewhere along the way, something feels off. You notice that the people who ask the most questions are often told to slow down. The ones who challenge ideas are labeled difficult. And the ones who simply follow instructions, even when those instructions don't make sense, are the ones who advance. You start to realize that intelligence, when it becomes visible, is rarely celebrated. It's managed, redirected, sometimes quietly discouraged. Not because thinking is wrong, but because thinking makes systems uncomfortable. This is the moment many intelligent people experience a strange tension. They're not failing. They're not lazy. But they feel restrained. As if the world doesn't quite know what to do with people who see too much. And once you notice this pattern, you can't unsee it. Because what society rewards isn't intelligence. It's obedience. Modern systems are built around measurement. They reward what can be counted, tracked, and verified. These things are visible, predictable, and easy to evaluate. Obedience fits perfectly into this structure. When someone follows instructions exactly, the system can relax. There is no uncertainty, no disruption, no need for explanation. The behavior matches expectation, and expectation is what systems depend on to function smoothly. Intelligence, on the other hand, is difficult to quantify. It asks questions that don't fit neatly into forms or metrics. It notices inefficiencies that aren't listed in the job description. It sees alternatives where rules only allow one path. And because of that, it introduces unpredictability. This is why intelligent people are often told to wait their turn, stick to the process, or not overthink things. Not because their thinking is wrong, but because it doesn't translate easily into measurable obedience. In schools, students who follow instructions precisely are rewarded with higher evaluations, even if they don't fully understand the material. Meanwhile, students who question methods or challenge assumptions are often seen as distractions. In workplaces, employees who comply quietly are described as team players. Those who suggest better ways of doing things are frequently advised to be more patient or diplomatic. The result is subtle but powerful. Obedience becomes visible success. Intelligence becomes invisible effort. And over time, systems don't just reward obedience, they begin to confuse it with competence. That confusion shapes who advances, who is trusted, and who is quietly sidelined. Every system values stability. Stability allows planning. It keeps things running without constant intervention. And obedience is the behavior that protects that stability. When people follow instructions without resistance, systems remain predictable. Outcomes can be anticipated. Authority stays intact. Intelligence, however, introduces friction. Intelligent thinking asks why before it asks how. It questions whether rules still make sense. It exposes inefficiencies that have become normalized. And while this can lead to improvement, it also creates discomfort, because disruption forces systems to explain themselves. In schools, curiosity often slows the lesson. Questions interrupt the schedule. Alternative answers complicate grading. So curiosity is tolerated only within limits, as long as it doesn't challenge the structure itself. In workplaces, insight can be threatening. A better idea may expose outdated processes or highlight leadership blind spots. Instead of being rewarded, intelligence is often reframed as impatience, lack of alignment, or not understanding how things work here. Society praises stability as responsibility. We're taught that mature people don't rock the boat. they adapt. They accept. They fit in. Over time, this creates a quiet rule. Think, but not too much. Question, but not the foundation. Intelligence is welcomed only after obedience has been proven. You are expected to demonstrate loyalty before originality, compliance before insight. This is not because systems hate intelligence. It's because systems fear uncontrolled intelligence. Obedience reassures the structure. Intelligence challenges it. And when forced to choose, most systems will always prioritize what keeps them intact over what could improve them. The cost of this system is rarely visible. There is no open rejection, no dramatic exclusion. Instead, the consequence is internal. Intelligent people begin to feel underused, not because they lack opportunity, but because their thinking is rarely invited. Over time, they learn to soften their ideas, simplify their thoughts, or stay quiet altogether. This creates a quiet form of pressure. Watching less capable but more compliant people advance doesn't produce rage, it produces confusion, self-doubt, a constant internal question, am I missing something? Eventually, that pressure turns into fatigue, not from working too hard, but from constantly holding back. From having to reduce complexity to fit systems that prefer simplicity. From realizing that insight alone is not enough. It must be packaged as obedience to be accepted. Many intelligent people don't fail outwardly. They succeed on paper. But internally, something erodes. Motivation fades. Curiosity dulls. Ambition becomes cautious. Not because they lack drive, but because they've learned that thinking deeply often carries a social cost. This is where burnout quietly forms. Not from effort, but from suppression. When intelligence has no outlet, it turns inward. And when it turns inward long enough, it becomes frustration, detachment, or disengagement. The tragedy isn't that intelligence goes unrewarded. It's that many intelligent people slowly learn to stop using it. Society isn't designed to reward intelligence automatically. It rewards what keeps it functioning. Obedience provides order. Intelligence provides possibility. And most systems will always choose order first. This doesn't mean intelligence is useless. It means it must be used deliberately. Knowing when to comply. Knowing when to question. Knowing when to walk away quietly. The danger isn't obedience itself. It's obeying without awareness. If you've ever felt out of place for thinking deeply, for noticing what others ignore, or for asking questions that made rooms uncomfortable, there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply seeing the system clearly. And clarity is the beginning of freedom. Society isn't designed to reward intelligence automatically. It rewards what keeps it functioning. Obedience provides order. Intelligence provides possibility. And most systems will always choose order first. This doesn't mean intelligence is useless. It means it must be used deliberately. Knowing when to comply. Knowing when to question. Knowing when to walk away quietly. The danger isn't obedience itself. It's obeying without awareness. If you've ever felt out of place for thinking deeply, for noticing what others ignore, or for asking questions that made rooms uncomfortable, there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply seeing the system clearly. And clarity is the beginning of freedom.